Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you had a really great weekend. So last week was a pretty mixed week on the market. The S&P and the Nasdaq both rallied quite a bit, and small caps and blue chips, IWM and DIA, did pull back. And SPY, we opened right here on Monday, and between Monday and Tuesday we consolidated back to the 35 EMA. So Monday we made new all-time highs. Tuesday we did not, but Wednesday we gapped up, made new all-time highs. Thursday we made new all-time highs, and Friday we gapped up, made new all-time highs, and then pulled back down to the 35 EMA. And Thursday and Friday actually had the same price action where we did make new all-time highs, then we came back down to the 35 EMA. And in SPX, same thing over here, opened the week right here, took it back to the 35 EMA Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday gapped up, made new all-time highs. Thursday made new all-time highs, pulled back to the 35 EMA, and Friday gapped up, made new all-time highs, and took it back down to the 35 EMA. So 4 out of the 5 days last week, we did make new all-time highs. SPY closed on Friday up 0.19%. SPX closed up 0.25%. VIX down 5.69%. And on Friday in both SPY and SPX, we did close within the implied move. And in QQQ, we did have a pretty big up week here. We started Monday right here at a previous resistance level and then gapped up, got above that, made new all-time highs. Tuesday was an up day, but a little more sideways. Then on Wednesday, we gapped up, made new all-time highs. Thursday, we made new all-time highs, pulled back to the 35 EMA here. And then Friday, small gap up, pushed to make new all-time highs, and we did close just a little bit above the top of the implied move. So the implied move on Friday, 526, and we closed 526.48. So QQQ, pretty big up week. We did close up 3.3% on the week, and on Friday we closed up 0.69%. VXN down 3.44%. So VXN down in the 15s again, and we did close just outside of the implied move on Friday. All right, and then IWM opened the week right here. We did have a tough time with that 35 EMA. We did get above it and then dropped back down. Tuesday, 35 EMA was resistance again. Wednesday, we got above it but could not hold. And then for the rest of the week, that 35 EMA was resistance. And Friday was actually a pretty funny looking day here because we did close up on Friday, down on the week, but up on Friday. But that 35 EMA was resistance for the entire day. So small gap up at open, 35 EMA resistance. We did close up 0.36%. RVX got pretty crushed, down 6%, and we did stay completely within the implied move on Friday. And DIA also had a down week. We did close down on the week, 0.66%. And we did start the week down at the 35 EMA. We dropped underneath it. This level right here is the 1 hour 35 EMA. That actually brought us back up, and then we gapped up on Wednesday, took it to the previous resistance, made new all-time highs right here, but got pulled back down and closed in the red on Friday. So DIA did close down 0.34%. and 0.66% on the week. And if we do zoom DIA out just a little bit, you could see that here we have the gap after the election. Then we did come back up, dropped into that gap, found support, rallied, and then last week was basically a week of consolidation. So at the beginning of the week, if you took something like an iron condor for the week, that would have closed perfectly right in the middle. And then right here in the middle of the week, we did make new all-time highs. All right, that was a recap of last week. Let's head right into tomorrow's trading levels. right, guys, let's go. So before we head into tomorrow's trading ranges, if you find these videos useful, if they help you to choose better strikes and take better trades, and you love how I break it down every night, then please make sure to give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. If you have any questions at all, please leave me a comment. If you don't understand something that I'm saying, it's really likely that I already made a tutorial on that. So just ask in the comments. And if you want to help support my channel, there's a thank you button underneath, and that all goes into helping me bring you more content. All right, so starting in SPY, tomorrow's implied move is between 605 and 611, and that is from options. The 30-day average volatility is 602 to 613, and on Tuesday's contract, 604 to 612. Just a heads up, this week we do have CPI on Wednesday, and that of course is in pre-market. And to the upside, tomorrow the first level to look for is all-time highs. The pattern lately has been make new all-time highs, pull back to the 35 EMA. We saw that on Friday too, make new all-time highs, pull back to the 35 EMA. But we did see something a little bit different down here in Stupid Willie. We have been oscillating between bearish and bullish and taking it higher along the 35 EMA. But last Friday we did see a rejection right here, which could break this trend. So if we do get above these previous all-time highs, the next level is 611 and 612 on Tuesday's contract. And then to the downside, we're sitting right on this 35 EMA, and you could see it has been defining the uptrend. We've been in a fully bullish trading pattern because we're still above this 35 EMA. If we break underneath it, we're still bullish, but we're more neutral than bullish. The only way we'll get bearish is if we get this 35 EMA underneath this 30-minute 200 moving average, and you can see we're still pretty far away from that. If we do break this 35 EMA, the bottom of the implied move is 605, 604 on Tuesday's contract. We've got this up gap from last Wednesday that we did hold above. So if we do drop today, then 605, 604 might be a pretty decent spread to put on because we do have this support, at least on the day. The bottom of the implied move on Tuesday's contract is 604. That would be a safer spread today, so 604, 603. And I'm going to say I think that is max pain on the day. The next support under that is right around 602 right here. And SPX, the implied move over here is between 60.65 and 61.15, and that is from options. The 30-day average volatility a little bit wider, 60.40 to 61.40, and 60.55 to 61.25 on Tuesday's contract. And to the upside here, we have the all-time highs we made last Friday. That's at 60.99.97, so pretty much 6,100. And if we get above that, the top of the implied move is 61.15. 61.25 on Tuesday's contract. I would definitely be interested in that spread if we came anywhere near that, especially with this red signal line here. Underneath us, we have the 35 EMA. And again here, that has been support for the past 2 weeks, ever since we bounced here on the 1 hour 200 moving average. And that was right around the same time we had this 35 EMA come down and bounce on the 30-minute 200 moving average. So pretty big move after that. At this point, I do believe we are due to catch up with those levels. So either trade a little bit more sideways here or drop down. And if we do break underneath that 35 EMA, then the next level to look for is going to be 60.65. You might want to keep an eye on this little support level. It's not a huge one, but it is there at 60.75. So 60.65, bottom of the implied move, 60.55, bottom of the implied move on Tuesday's contract. Then we have this up gap from last Wednesday. The bottom of that gap being at 60.50, just a little bit underneath that. And 60, 65, 60, 55 may not be a bad spread, but I think personally today I would look a little bit lower, 60, 55, 60, 45. And then if we do fill that gap, even if we do bounce back in for the day, once we're underneath that 30-minute 35 EMA, then keep an eye on this 30-minute 200 moving average, as that becomes a much more real target once we break the 35 EMA. But this 35 EMA is support until it's not, and right now it's been support every time we've seen it. So futures are down right now 0.1%, so that could take us pretty darn close to testing that level. And then QQQ, the implied move over here for tomorrow is between 523 and 530. That is from options. 30-day average volatility is 520 to 534, 522 to 531 on Tuesday's contract, and to the upside, and really pretty much exactly where we closed on Friday, is all-time highs. And we did make those in not necessarily the last candle, we did end up at that level, but we did make that a few hours before we closed on Friday. So all-time highs, 526.72. If we get above that, then 530 is the top of the implied move, and 531 on Tuesday's contract. Underneath us, 35 EMA. Clearly that has been a support level for us ever since we gapped up above this previous resistance right here. So that is down at 509. We gapped up over that, and the 35 EMA has held up for this rally. So that is underneath us and currently underneath the implied move. So if you remember, if the 35 EMA is underneath the implied move, a lot of times that will be a down or a flat day. We don't trade far away from the 35 EMA for long. We always return to it, and with it being underneath, we definitely could see a down day. If we break it, 523 is the bottom of the implied move, 522 on Tuesday's contract, and I would look to 522, 521 bull put spreads if we do drop. 30-minute 200 moving average is pretty far away here, and we are due for returning to that level. Just like the 35 EMA, we always return to the 30-minute 200 moving average. We don't stay too far for too long, and it doesn't mean we need to drop. We could stay sideways for a little while it catches up. And we did close last week QQQ with a bearish divergence in Stupid Willie. You could see that rally right here. Then we did break down underneath the red signal line, made one more push up on lower strength, and then we did close at all-time highs. And again here in QQQ, 35 EMA is support until it's not. So just assume that it is support until we break that level. Low volume bounces on the 35 EMA can fake you out for a long time. All right, and then IWM, the implied move here today is between 236 to 242, and that is from options. The 30-day average volatility and the next day's implied move is at 235 to 243, and to the upside, the 35 EMA, which was resistance all of last week. On Friday we gapped up, and then that 35 EMA was just a wall. And if we do get above that level, we do have 242 as the top of the implied move. That does line up with a previous resistance right here on the way down where we made lower highs. So 242 and 243 on Tuesday's contract, and then underneath us we have this up gap. If we do fill that, then we could see a bounce and then potentially see this 35 EMA as resistance and maybe break down underneath it. We have the 30-minute 200 moving average. Because that is in our trading range today, that does make it a super realistic target to the downside. It's at the bottom of the implied move here, just above 236, and then 235 on Tuesday's contract, and then we have the 1 hour 200 moving average underneath that. So 30-minute 200 moving average is on deck. Just underneath that, we do have a 236, 235, pretty realistic looking bull put spread if we do come down there. So that is where I will be looking. I've actually been trading IWM a little bit more lately, so that is something I very well could be looking for today. And DIA, we only have weekly contracts over here. Last week we did have a week of sideways consolidation trading, and the implied move here today is between not 42, that is 442, and 452, and that is from options. The 30-day average volatility is a little bit less wide, which is telling me that options is predicting a more volatile week than last week. And with CPI on Wednesday and PPI on Thursday, that is very realistic. To the upside, we have the 35 EMA, which we did chop around last week. So that could become a resistance as we head into the week. If we do get above it, then all-time highs up here at 451 and top of the implied move at 452. So maybe a 451, 452 bear call spread if we do reach that. Underneath us, we do have this up gap from not last Monday, but the Monday before that. So that would be a gap in the weekly time frame. So we started the week on 2 Mondays ago with a gap up, and gaps on the weekly contract are definitely more of a target than when they happen intra-week. We do have that 30-minute 200 moving average in there that could add a level of support within that gap, and then the bottom of the implied move for the whole week is 442. So there you have it, guys. Looks like we have a lot to look for heading into this week. Have fun, trade safe, make sure you take profits when you're up, and I will see you guys tomorrow night.